Hey guys, welcome to our channel. I am Ladell Hart.
And I am Danielle Hart.
We're House of Lave. We're so excited to chit chat with you guys about something that me and Danielle feel very, very strongly about. We thought about the title, What Google Doesn't Know About Marriage. And so we want to talk about just a couple things. We don't want to take up too much of your time.
We are talking about some amazing concept from the Woman's Wisdom book by Rabbi Shalom Arush.
Yeah.
So, his books are phenomenal. He has a long list of books, and we particularly love the one on women's wisdom, and then there's also a man's one as well too. That's
Garden of
only
Peace.
for man. Yeah, that's only for the men. Garden of Peace.
So we were sitting on the couch, we were talking about, or we were trying to figure out what we're going to share. Opened up these books and a whole bunch of things just started coming out based on what she was just kind of sharing. So I said, I'm just kind of going to kind of sit back and kind of sidebar you and just kind of really support, because she's going to share some things that are very, very powerful for women. So I'm going to sit back and I'm going to learn.
I'm really going to read a lot from the book. I don't want to say things that are out of order that's not from the book. I really just want to read from it, and then we'll talk about a couple of things. But if you don't have this book, I highly recommend getting this, and we'll definitely put the details in the description box and the link to it to where you can get it, because it's.
Let me get a close up. Get a little close up so they can look at that. Boom.
Yeah. So we're starting at the, chapter 2. It talks about fulfilling creation's purpose, right, for marriage, and the purpose of creation and all of that amazing stuff. And so I'm going to go into a part that's titled Not Good to Be Alone. And so it says, an unmarried man attains completion and begins to fulfill the purpose of his creation only when he weds. However, marriage in and of itself is not enough. He must strive to enjoy marital peace with his wife. Married couples who live in contention and controversy not only fail to fulfill the purpose of their creation, but create a virtual chaos in creation. The lack of unity between husband and wife creates a lack of unity in the upper worlds as well. That's very deep. A married woman must therefore make marital peace her first priority, the focal point and most important thing in her life. She must put all her effort and strength into creating a peaceful home. I just want to talk about that for a second, pause for a second on that, because, it mentioned the focal point of a woman's, most important focal point of us is to, create that peace in our home. And, I know a lot of them, especially in the Jewish community. I think that's what I'm learning so much within Judaism, just the role of a wife, especially in an Orthodox Jewish home, is understanding the power of what the woman brings into the home, and that peace that is literally the focal point of your house is the most important thing in your house. But I just wanted to mention that for a second. And then building a good, peaceful home is the most significant mitzvah for her to fulfill throughout her lifetime. If she sees that her home is not peaceful, she should pray with no limits, especially that her husband will understand that the purpose of their creation depends upon the peace in their home. She should beg Hashem that her husband will join her in making every possible effort to achieve a genuinely peaceful home. So this next part is titled True Peace. It says, peace in the home should be a woman's central preoccupation.
Wow.
Many career-oriented women view the effort involved in creating a peaceful home and developing the relevant, proper character traits for a good marriage as a waste of precious time. Other women, as righteous as they may be, focus on doing their husband's job, learning and praying, while neglecting their primary responsibilities. This is another one that I want to talk about for a second, and I want to say that because I would say that was my challenge coming into Judaism, was thinking that my obligations had to be equal to Ladero as far as when it came to learning and praying, because I wanted to be able to, but understanding, what the woman's role is to really make sure, especially for those who are married and have kids. You're in my Rebbetzin. That's why, again, I love my Rebbetzin so much. She let me understand that. She taught me that in a beautiful way. Like, don't forget, like, you taking care of your kids is everything. Like, That's important. That's just as equal as your husband learning Torah, right? And so I had to really understand the importance of that concept and what that actually meant. For us, it's very beautiful to hear that and to understand the importance of a wife, really knowing that her home is her occupation, right?
And this isn't, I'm sorry,
No.
and this isn't saying that a woman can't have a job, so this isn't that. And we're saying that because we know sometimes people could take it as that, right? And we're not saying a woman can't have a career and have goals and all these different things, but I want you guys to really pay attention to where her heart is coming from, and what Rabbi Shalom Arush is really trying to help the women really understand what the primary focus should be.
Yeah, that's why I said we're still we're learning that, ourselves. We're learning this whole concept of what the primary focus should be. And so that's why we're kind of speaking in it from our view and how we're receiving this as well. So, again, if I just want to mention that, again, what it said. It said, again, other women, as righteous as they may be, focus on doing their husband's job, learning and praying, while neglecting to fulfill their primary responsibilities. Still, other women think that their sole purpose is to have a good time, chat with friends on the phone, or by the pool in the country club, and spend their time shopping, in the beauty parlor, or doing their own thing. All these women neglect their essential obligations to their homes and families. Ultimately, these women miss the most important facet of their life and forfeit real happiness. A wise woman understands that her main service to Hashem and venue of entertainment is her home. All her joy and pleasure depends upon the success of her home. A woman's life's project should surely be her home. A woman's home is her true test in life. A woman's efforts to refine her character traits, develop her amunah, and her spiritual self are all manifested by the way of her home. Women are certainly not exempt from making the effort to rectify themselves. Every woman, just as every man, must stand before Hashem and make self-reckoning about every deed she does. Again, like we said, that was just a partial, section of the book. There's so much more that goes into all of that, but that's just what really, stood out to us, and we wanted to just talk about that because, another thing that I was reading as well too is just how Hashem cannot even dwell in the home if there's no peace and there's not this understanding of, what a woman's role is supposed to be and how Hashem created the world and how he wanted husband and wife to operate together. And so that's my view and my perspective of, what I'm really trying to come across. Her obligation is her home. It's her home. And like Ladero said earlier, it's not taken away from women who, are working or supposed to work. I mean, at the same time, I have my obligation, but we do content together. So in a sense, I do, work, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to neglect my home over content, if that makes sense. My kids' responsibility. That's why you'll see Ladero, he'll do most of the work of things that we got going on with it. And I'm here just filming, and then he's doing everything else. And my obligation is my children and my husband and taking care of the home.
So with that being said, what do we need to do as men? We need to make sure that we do every single thing in our power to make sure that there is peace in the home. So the only way that they can have that space to be able to take care of the home is if we work our hardest to make sure that there's peace in the home. And so we have to work very, very hard, right? We have to work very, very hard to make sure that we honor our wives, to make sure that we're not judging and criticizing them, to make sure that they're happy, that they're at peace all day long as much as we can. And that's our role. And when you got peace in the home, then you got everything. So
yeah. And I have to add and end with this, that my husband has done a phenomenal job, especially during the end of this, end of my pregnancy, coming close to the end of it. The help that I've been needing and his, willingness and just I mean, obviously it's these are his kids too, but to see him just step up and pretty much kind of take my role of some things. Like, he made spaghetti that was phenomenal.
I made spaghetti.
Phenomenal. One day where I just was like, I don't want to cook. I can't cook today. It was challenging. It's like, I could do it. And just seeing how much he has been stepping up and just serving me and just being there for me has been incredible. And so with my husband saying what he just said, he's actually living it out and he's doing it. It's not just him talking. He actually does that, which brings lots of peace in our home. And that's all he wants, is the peace in our home.
Thank you.
So appreciate you and everything you're doing, especially during this like end time.
Hey, it's making me like me doing a whole lot more, which is not an issue, but because she's at this final stage of giving birth, as she said, I have to do a whole lot more. But it's really making me really appreciate my wife so much more, because I'm like, yo, I don't, some of the stuff I'm like, I don't even know how she does it, you know, because there are times where like I'm working and she's handling the whole house, right? She's getting the kids food, she's cooking in the kitchen, she's putting the kids down for a nap, she's doing all these things, and I'm so now I'm doing a lot of those things as well as working at the same time, and I'm like, man, you're amazing. You know, so I have so much respect for my wife, so much respect for all of the moms, all of the mothers, the wives, and everything that you all do. You all are incredible. We can't even walk a half a mile in your shoes. So
you heard that, ladies.
Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch, and we really hope that you're able to learn something from this video, be able to get something from it. I know me sitting here next to my wife, her sharing some of those things, I learned a lot, and I'm grateful.
Yeah, so thank you guys again. I hope that you heard our hearts in it. Of course, this was not anything to be a negative thing. This was all supposed to be positive, just about the beauty of marriage and husband and wife, and how we're supposed to work together, be unified, and bring that peace. So thank you again for tuning in. Please, if you haven't already, make sure that you subscribe. Make sure that you like. And again, we will leave the book information in the description box, and we'll give you a link as well to where you can get it.
That's right. Have a good night, guys, and thank you so much. We love you all.